life has become. From the moment we wake up, there's a constant stream of notifications, background chatter, and new things to worry about. It's no wonder so many of us feel like we're running just to keep up, always one step behind. Maybe you've caught yourself wishing for just a moment of real peace, a chance to breathe, to escape all the noise and pressure, even for a little while. It's a common experience. We try to find peace in vacations, shopping, or maybe even binge watching a favorite show, hoping it'll make the stress fade away. Yet somehow, once these distractions pass, the pressure returns. I've felt this 2 times when I thought a weekend getaway would solve everything, but I came back just as anxious as before. But here's an idea that completely changed my perspective, and maybe it'll resonate with you too. Buddhist philosophy teaches that true, lasting peace isn't something we have to chase out in the world. It's not about controlling the noise or eliminating every stress. Instead, real calm is built from the inside out, no matter what's going on around us. Think about it. The outside world is always changing. Jobs come and go, relationships shift, plans fall through. We can't stop that. But what if you could learn to create an inner steadiness, a kind of calm that isn't shaken by whatever's happening out there? That's exactly what we're exploring in this video. I'm going to walk you through 10 powerful teachings inspired by Buddhism, each designed to help you develop inner strength, clarity, and peace, even when life feels overwhelming. We'll break down how these lessons can be practical and simple, sharing real-life stories to help you see how they might work for you. So let me ask you, when was the last time you really felt peaceful, right in the middle of chaos? If you're curious how to find that calm, again, not by escaping life, but by embracing it, you're in the right place. Let's begin this journey together. If any of these insights connect with you, or if you've struggled to find peace in the chaos, I'd love to hear your story in the comments below. And if you're ready for more practical wisdom on building inner calm, don't forget to subscribe. We're building a community here, one mindful step at a time. Teaching 1. Pause before you react. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you reacted instantly to something, a snappy comment, a negative email, maybe a harsh look from someone at work? If you're like most people, it probably happens more often than you'd like to admit. Life has a way of throwing challenges at us when we least expect it. Someone cuts you off in traffic, your spouse forgets something important, or your boss gives you unexpected criticism. In those moments, it's so easy to let emotions take over and react without thinking. But here's the truth. Between what happens to us and how we choose to respond, there's this tiny gap. And in that gap lies the real power we have over our own lives. This is an idea rooted deeply in Buddhist philosophy. The power of the pause. There's a saying I love. Learn to stay calm when people praise or blame you. It reminds me that whether we're faced with praise or criticism, our greatest strength comes from responding thoughtfully, not impulsively. Imagine this. A friend gives you some negative feedback. Instead of instantly defending yourself or snapping back, you take a deep breath. You let the words settle for just a moment before you reply. That single passeno, matter how small, can completely shift the energy of the conversation. It gives you a chance to choose patience, understanding, and even kindness, rather than regret later on. In my own life, I've noticed how much better my relationships are when I take this pause. It's not always easy. Sometimes my first instinct is still to lash out or withdraw. But when I practice waiting, even just for a heartbeat, I find that I'm calmer, and I don't carry the weight of saying something I'll regret later. Think of building this habit like stacking bricks to make a strong wall. Every time you pause before reacting, you add another brick to the foundation of your emotional strength. Over time, it gets easier, and your sense of inner peace grows when life gets loud or messy. So, I invite you to try this. Next time you feel a strong emotion bubbling up, give yourself permission to pause. You might be surprised by the power you uncover in those silent moments. If you've ever tried this power of the pause, or if you struggle with it, Share your experience in the comments. What difference did it make her? What's the hardest teaching for you? We're here to learn from each other, one mindful pause at a time. Teaching 2. Accept change. Have you ever found yourself wishing things could just stay the same for a little while? Maybe you've held on to a good moment, a happy relationship, a steady job, a feeling of safety hoping that it would last forever. But life, as we all come to realize, is in a constant state of motion. It doesn't matter where you are or what you do. Change is unavoidable. It's woven right into the fabric of being human. Now, this can feel unsettling, right? I know it has for me. Recently, a good friend of mine, let's call him Daniel, went through a rough patch. After years of dedication, he suddenly lost his job. In those first few days, all he could see was loss, the end of his career, uncertainty about the future, and the fear of starting over. Everything safe and familiar just slipped away. But something interesting happened. As weeks turned into months, Daniel was forced to step out of his comfort zone. He started volunteering, reconnected with people he hadn't seen in years, and eventually discovered a passion he never realized he had working with kids. Today, he'll tell you that losing his job was the best thing that ever happened to him, even if it didn't feel that way at the time. The truth is, everything in life, pain, happiness, jobs, relationships, they're all temporary. Buddhist philosophy speaks clearly on this. Impermanence is the nature of the world. When you really let that sink in, you start to see change not just as an enemy or a threat, but as a natural teaching of life. And I get it, letting go is hard. We want to cling to what's good, avoid what's painful, and control what's coming next. But here's another way to look at it. If everything is temporary, then the hardest days won't last forever, but neither will the best ones. There's freedom in accepting that. It allows us to savor the good moments without the anxiety of holding on too tight, and to survive the bad ones knowing that too will pass. So, next time change shows up uninvited at your doorstep, try to meet it with curiosity instead of resistance. Ask yourself, what might this new chapter bring? Remember, sometimes an ending is just the beginning in disguise. Have you experienced a big change that ended up shaping your life in a surprising way? I'd love to hear your story in the comments. And if this perspective on change resonates with you, make sure to subscribe for more inspiring Buddhist wisdom. Let's navigate life's ups and downs together. Teaching 3. Let go of craving. Have you ever noticed how easy it is to always want something more? Maybe you're hoping for a promotion at work, a newer car, a bigger house, or even just more recognition from others. It sounds innocent enough. We all have dreams and ambitions. But if you're constantly reaching for the next thing, you might find yourself feeling restless, unsatisfied, or even disappointed, no matter what you achieve. This restless craving is something Buddhist philosophy calls out as the root of suffering. The desire for more, whether it's success, material things, or even praise, can tie us into knots on the inside. Imagine John, for example. He'd spent years working hard, doing everything right, just waiting for that long-awaited promotion. When it went to someone else, he didn't just feel let down. He felt crushed, like all his effort counted for nothing. Maybe you felt that sting, that deep sense of disappointment, when reality simply doesn't match what you pictured. But here's the thing. John's suffering didn't actually come from missing out on the promotion itself. It came from the craving, the attachment to the idea that he needed that new title to be happy or fulfilled. When John finally realized this, he learned something profound. By letting go of the craving, by accepting things as they were, he started to feel lighter and more at peace. He still worked hard, but the pressure eased. He even discovered new aspects of his job and life that he'd overlooked before, all because he wasn't obsessed with a specific outcome. I found this lesson comes up over and over again, not just in big life moments, but in everyday situations. Think about the last time you felt anxious because things weren't going your way. What were you craving at that moment? Control, recognition, maybe just a sense that everything was okay. What if, just for a moment, You released your grip on that desire and just allowed things to unfold. Letting go of craving isn't about giving up on your goals. It's about enjoying the journey, finding contentment with where you are right now, and making space for peace in your everyday life. It's a skill worth practicing, one small step at a time. Have you ever noticed craving causing tension in your own life? Share your experience in the comments below. Let's learn from each other. And if you're interested in more wisdom like this, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode on finding real peace from within. Teaching 4. Live in the present. Let me ask you, how often do you catch yourself replaying the past or worrying about something that hasn't even happened yet? If you're anything like me, it's probably more often than you'd like to admit. The truth is, our minds have a habit of dragging us away from the present moment. We get caught up reliving old mistakes or anticipating every possible problem. And in doing so, we often miss out on the only time life truly happens, right now. Buddhist wisdom tells us that peace isn't found in regret about yesterday or anxiety about tomorrow. It can only be found in the present. That's what mindfulness is all about. It's not some abstract idea or complicated ritual. It's simply the act of bringing your attention back to what you're experiencing now, over and over again, whenever you notice your mind drifting. Let me give you a simple example. I know a guy named John who recently had one of those never-ending, stressful days at work. Instead of going over all the things that frustrated him or replaying what he could have said differently to his boss, he made a different choice. He went for a walk through his neighborhood, paying close attention to the sound of the wind in the trees, the feeling of his feet on the ground, and each breath as it came and went. For the first time all day, he felt his mind begin to settle. That's the power of mindfulness in action. I won't pretend that staying present is always easy. Life is busy. Our minds are wired to jump into the past and leap into the future. But the good news? Mindfulness can be practiced in small ways every single day. You don't need to meditate for hours or retreat to a mountaintop. Start by noticing your breath when you make your morning coffee or the sensation of water on your hands when you wash them. Every time you return your attention to the now, even for a few seconds, you're strengthening your ability to find calm no matter what's going on around you. So, the next time your mind starts racing, take a pause and ask, what's happening right here, right now? That moment of awareness is where peace lives. Have you tried mindfulness in your daily life? What makes it challenging? And when have you noticed it helping? Drop your thoughts and stories in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. And if you found this reminder helpful, consider subscribing for more real-world ways to build calm and clarity, one mindful moment at a time. Teaching 5. Love without clinging. Have you ever held on to something or someone so tightly it actually started to hurt? Maybe it was a relationship, a career path, or even just the idea of how your life should unfold. We all want a sense of certainty and comfort, but sometimes trying to control or cling to things, especially people or outcomes, brings us more pain than peace. This is where Buddhist wisdom invites us to shift our perspective by practicing non-attachment. To be clear, non-attachment doesn't mean not caring. It doesn't mean giving up or becoming distant. Instead, it's about loving and experiencing life with an open hand rather than a clenched fist. Let me share a story that might sound familiar. There's a guy named David. He deeply loved someone, and when the relationship ended, it felt like his whole world collapsed. He replayed every moment, wondering what he could have done differently, and for a long time, he couldn't move on. The more he tried to hold on to the past, the heavier it became. But slowly, David began to release a knot by forgetting or refusing to love, but by accepting change and letting go with kindness, both to himself and his former teacher. As he loosened his grip, something unexpected happened. He stopped hurting as much. Space opened up for healing, for growth, and for genuine appreciation of the time they shared. By letting go, he didn't lose love. He opened himself up to a deeper kind of freedom. Non-attachment asks us to hold our relationships, our achievements, our dreams, with gentle respect and gratitude, but without fear of loss. When we do this, we discover that love can thrive when it's not tangled up with need or control. Freedom and true connection can coexist. Just imagine how your life might feel if you could celebrate what's here without being driven by anxiety over what could disappear tomorrow. So take a look at your own life for a moment. Is there anything you're clinging to, old story, a person, or an expectation that's actually keeping you stuck? What would it feel like to let go just a little and trust that you'll be okay, come what may? Have you ever experienced peace by letting go of someone or something? I'd love to hear about your journey. Share your thoughts or stories in the comments below. And if you want more insights into building healthy, loving connections with yourself and others, don't forget to subscribe for future videos on mindful living. Teaching 6. Retreat into stillness. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you truly sat in silence? Not just the absence of noise, but that deep, undisturbed quiet where you can actually hear your own thoughts? In today's world, we're constantly surrounded by sound. Phones buzzing, television in the background, notifications pinging, conversations overlapping. Even when we're supposedly relaxing, there's a hum of activity that never really stops. And over time, all that noise starts to drown out not just the world around us, but our own inner voice. I want to share the story of Samuel, a friend of mine who, maybe like you, found himself caught up in the whirlwind of work and daily responsibilities. The stress piled up, and the pressure to keep performing left him feeling exhausted and overwhelmed. He tried all sorts of quick fixes, more coffee, late night streaming, even a couple of weekend getaways. But nothing truly helped him recharge. Then, almost accidentally, Samuel stumbled on something simple yet life-changing: silence. One morning, instead of reaching for his phone, he just sat quietly by his window, watching the world wake up outside. At first, it was uncomfortable. His mind raced, craving distraction. But slowly, a sense of peace washed in. For maybe the first time in years, he felt his shoulders drop, his thoughts slow, and a kind of calm that went deeper than any nap or vacation could provide. You see, silence doesn't mean emptiness or boredom. In fact, it's in those quiet moments that we finally make space to connect with ourselves. Silence is where we notice what our hearts are really telling us, and where for just a few minutes we can let go of all the demands and expectations of the day. It's a chance to breathe, to listen, and to recharge from the inside out. I'm curious, have you given yourself the gift of silence lately? Even a few minutes a day, sitting quietly with your thoughts or soaking in a peaceful sunrise, can be deeply healing. So, next time life feels too loud or overwhelming, try stepping away from the noise and into stillness. You might discover a source of calm and clarity you didn't even know was missing. Have you found peace or insight through moments of silence? How do you make space for quiet in your routine? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear what works for you. And if you'd like more tips on building inner peace, don't forget to subscribe and join our community for mindful living. Teaching 7. Release the ego. Have you ever caught yourself getting into a pointless argument, maybe with a family member, friend, or even a stranger, just because you wanted to be right? Or maybe you felt that urge to have the last word, or refused to back down even when it made things tense. If so, you're not alone. We all have an ego. It's that little voice inside that wants to win, to feel important, to stay in control. The trouble is, when we let our ego run the show, it often creates more stress, disconnection, and downright unhappiness in our lives. Buddhist wisdom puts it simply: the ego thrives on being right and avoiding vulnerability. It convinces us that we have something to lose if we let go of control. But in reality, clinging to our egos makes relationships strained and keeps us from experiencing true connection with others and ourselves. Take Olivia, for example. For years, she found herself locked in small disagreements with her family, always jumping in to correct, debate, or prove her point. There were times when even family dinners felt exhausting, with tension hanging in the air. But then, she tried something different. She stopped fighting for the last word and started listening instead. She let go of being right, just for a moment. To her surprise, conversations became lighter, laughter came more easily, and suddenly, her relationships felt warmer. I've noticed the same thing in my own life. When I stop defending my opinions and actually listen, it's like a weight lifts off my shoulders. Instead of needing to win, I find space for understanding, empathy, and even growth. Releasing the ego doesn't mean letting people walk all over you, but it does mean choosing peace over power and connection over competition. So, here's something to reflect on. Are there situations in your life where your ego is holding you back, maybe making things harder than they need to be? What could shift if you allowed yourself to listen or acknowledged you didn't have to be right all the time? Letting go of the ego is a lifelong practice, but every step makes life a little lighter and your relationships much richer. How has letting go of your ego changed your life? Have you found more peace or connection as a result? I'd love to hear your experiences in the comments below. And if you're interested in more mindful ways to build inner peace and authentic relationships, be sure to subscribe and join our growing community. Teaching 8. Flow with life. Let me ask you this. How often do you find yourself fighting against reality? Maybe it's a sudden shift at work, a change in your health, or a relationship that didn't go as planned. If you're like most people, your first instinct might be to resist, to try and control the outcome, or to replay scenarios in your head wishing things were different. But here's the truth. Life is full of twists and turns, and there will always be things outside our control. Buddhist wisdom teaches us the power of acceptance as a form of surrender, but as a way to shift our energy toward what we can actually influence in our lives. I recently heard about Mia, who worked at a company for years and built close relationships with her coworkers. Suddenly, the company went through major layoffs, and several of her closest friends were let go. Mia was crushed. She worried, felt anxious, and wanted desperately to turn back the clock or fix the situation. But after a while, she realized that no amount of stress or worry could bring her friends back or change the decision that had already been made. Once Mia truly accepted what had happened, something powerful took place. Instead of spending all her energy resisting reality, she was able to refocus on what mattered, supporting herself, showing compassion to her friends, and making the most of each day at work. She found new ways to grow and even formed new connections she never expected. That's the heart of acceptance. It's not about giving up or pretending everything is fine. It's about acknowledging, this is my situation right now, and asking, what can I actually control? Where can I invest my time and energy to bring about positive change? Acceptance, in this way, isn't passive. It's a dynamic choice. It frees us from constant struggle and opens the door to resilience, growth, and peace of mind. So, is there something in your life right now that you're struggling to control or change? What might happen if you allowed yourself to accept it just for a moment and redirect your energy into what you can influence? Have you found strength or clarity by accepting the things you can't change? Tell us your story in the comments below. We're all here to support each other. And if these messages resonate with you, make sure to subscribe for more mindful lessons about flowing with life's changes and building inner peace. Teaching 9. Lead with compassion. Let's be honest, it's all too easy to judge others. Maybe someone cuts us off in traffic, or we deal with a clerk having a bad day at the grocery store. Our first reaction is often irritation or criticism. Why are they acting like that? What's wrong with them? But here's what Buddhist wisdom invites us to consider. Every time we judge, especially over little things, we actually create more stress and tension inside ourselves. Holding on to judgment is like carrying around a heavy bag of stones. It doesn't just affect the person we're judging, it weighs us down too. It creates a wall between us and the world and becomes a barrier to real connection and peace. Kindness, on the other hand, acts like a gentle breeze. dissolving tension and opening the door to understanding both for ourselves and those around us. Let me share a quick story. Emma, a friend of mine, recently stopped at a bakery after a long, tough day. There, the cashier seemed impatient and even snapped at her. Emma's first instinct was to snap back or walk away frustrated. But instead, she paused, took a breath, and said with genuine warmth, "Hey, I hope your day gets better." Instantly, the cashier's demeanor changed, her eyes softened, and by the end of the transaction, she even managed a small smile and a thank you. That's the power of compassion. By responding with kindness instead of judgment, Emma not only shifted the energy of that moment, but also avoided carrying anger with her throughout the rest of her day. Kindness isn't always about grand gestures. Sometimes it's in small, conscious choices, a smile, a patient word, or simply listening without making assumptions. Think about this in your own life. Where might you choose compassion over quick judgment? Maybe with a difficult coworker, a frustrated family member, or even a stranger who seems rude or distracted. Often, we have no idea what battles others are facing. Choosing kindness doesn't mean letting people walk all over you. It means understanding that compassion can transform not only their experience, but yours, too. Have you ever softened a tense interaction with kindness? Or do you struggle with judging others too quickly? Share your stories in the comments below. I'd love for us to learn from each other. And if you want more heart-centered wisdom like this, remember to subscribe and join our growing community for mindful living. Teaching 10. Be grateful. You see, gratitude is more than just saying, "Thank you." It's a way of shifting your attention, even for a moment, from what's lacking to what's present. And studies have shown that regularly practicing gratitude can reduce stress, improve sleep, and even make you more resilient when life gets tough. Take the example of Leo, who was going through a rough patch at work and at home. He felt like he was always chasing something: approval, success, happiness. Then he started a little experiment. Each morning, he wrote down 3 things he was grateful for. Sometimes it was something as simple as a hot cup of coffee, a funny text from a friend, or the birds singing outside his window. Within weeks, he noticed a real change. The same everyday challenges were there, but they didn't weigh on him as heavily. Gratitude helped him find calm in the chaos. It's not magic, it's a shift in perspective. When you start to recognize what's good and working in your life, it softens that endless striving for more. Gratitude pulls you out of your head and anchors you in the present moment, making contentment possible even when life is far from perfect. Think about this for yourself. What are 3 small things you could be grateful for today? Maybe it's the smile of a loved one, a meal you enjoy, or simply the fact that you're here right now with another chance to begin again. Have you tried keeping a gratitude journal or making a daily gratitude list? If so, how did it change your outlook? Share your favorite gratitude practice or story in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. And if you want more simple ways to cultivate peace of mind and live with intention, don't forget to subscribe and join us on this mindful journey. Conclusion. As we wrap up, let's take a moment to reflect on everything we've explored together. These Buddhist teachings aren't just abstract concepts or nice words to remember, they're living practices. When you put even one of them into action, you begin to build real, lasting inner peace, brick by brick. Think of it like a calm lake on a stormy day, or a mountain that stands firm no matter how strong the winds blow. That kind of steadiness isn't an accident, it's something we can nurture, day by day, breath by breath. And here's a question worth considering. What if the peace you're searching for out there through busyness, scrolling, or seeking validation has always been waiting for you on the inside? It's a powerful shift to realize that you already have this potential within you. You don't have to be someone else or change your entire life to experience it. You just need to come home to yourself again and again. I know it's not always easy. Life gets messy, chaotic, and unpredictable. But the more you return to these practices, even imperfectly, the more natural it becomes to find your center. Over time, you'll notice that you're calmer during life's challenges and more joyful in the ordinary moments. If this message resonates with you, I hope you know you're not alone on this journey. I invite you to subscribe for more practical wisdom and to share your thoughts or experiences in the comments below. Together, let's keep growing peace one breath, one step, one mindful moment at a time. 3:14 a.m. A woman steps outside. The world is quiet. Stars fill the sky like scattered diamonds. She whispers to herself, "Who made all this?" We've all had a moment like that, staring into the vastness of the night sky, watching someone we love take their last breath, or just feeling small in the middle of a crowded, chaotic world. And then it hits us. That aching question we can't quite shake. Who made this? Who's behind it all? It's not just a philosophical curiosity. It's a longing, a deep human need for meaning, for comfort, for someone to tell us, it's okay, there's a reason, you're not alone. And that longing's not random. Science tells us our brains are wired for agency detection. Early humans heard rustling in the bushes. Was it the wind or a tiger? Assuming there was something behind the noise helped us survive. Today, that same instinct looks at the cosmos and sees a creator. We want there to be someone out there, a force, a mind, a plan. Even in the ancient Buddhist texts, there's a powerful story. The deity Brahmabhaka, who lived for eons in a radiant celestial realm. He thought he was eternal. He believed he was the uncaused cause, the ultimate creator. But then, the Buddha appears, and with a quiet, piercing gaze, reveals a truth Brahma never considered. Even gods are born from conditions. Even creators are created. It's a stunning idea. What if the question isn't, who made all this? But instead, why do I need someone to have made it? And that's just the beginning. Because once we let go of needing a creator, we open the door to a completely different kind of freedom. Pause, beat. But what does that freedom actually look like? Stay with me. Part 1. The old answers and a new question. There's a question that haunts every human being, whether we're lying under a starry sky or sitting in a hospital room watching someone we love slip away. Where did all this come from? Who made this? Why are we here? For thousands of years, people have turned to one of the oldest and most powerful ideas we've ever had. There must be a creator, a divine architect, a cosmic mind, a being who imagined the universe into being and placed you deliberately right here in the middle of it. And to be honest, that story brings comfort. If God made the world, then our lives must mean something. We're not just accidents. We're part of a plan, a sacred script, written by hands we cannot see. But then, another story emerged. One that didn't come from temples or holy books, but from telescopes and particle accelerators and long nights in labs. The scientific version of our origin. It goes like this. In the beginning, there was nothing. No stars, no time, no space. And then boom, the Big Bang. A single moment when everything exploded into existence. Energy, matter, space, and time itself. It's awe-inspiring. A universe from nowhere. And yet, it leaves us with another haunting question. What came before that? Was there something before the bang? And if so, what caused that? Even Stephen Hawking, one of the brightest minds of our time, speculated that the laws of physics could have emerged spontaneously from what he called a quantum vacuum. An elegant phrase. But what does that really mean? If there's no creator, and no before the beginning, what are we even doing here? And that's when the Buddha's voice quietly enters the conversation. Not to argue, not to debate, but to ask a very different kind of question. You see, 2,600 years ago, people asked the Buddha these same things. Is the world eternal? Who created it? Where did we come from? And the Buddha, he didn't answer. Not because he didn't know, but because, in his eyes, those questions were distractions. He told a story instead. A man is shot with a poisoned arrow, and instead of pulling it out, he starts asking, who made this arrow? What kind of wood is it? What tribe is the archer from? The Buddha's point? You're dying. Focus on healing. So instead of who created the universe, the Buddha asked, what conditions caused this moment to arise? Not a first cause, not a cosmic person, but a chain of interwoven causes and effects, like waves rising from the sea. Not because someone pushes them, but because of the wind, the tide, the moon. The wave is not made. It is born from the meeting of conditions. This changes everything, because it moves us away from needing to find a beginning and toward understanding what's unfolding right now. You weren't created once, long ago. You are being created in this very moment. By your choices, by your breath, by the conditions of your life, your childhood, your thoughts, your habits, your environment. And just like that, responsibility shifts. It's not about who made you. It's about how you're being made right now. Some might feel uneasy about that, because it means there may be no grand designer, no higher script, but there's also freedom in it. Because if your life is being shaped by causes, you can change the causes. You can plant different seeds. You can wake up. So maybe the deeper question isn't, who created this? But, what am I creating through my thoughts, my actions, and the way I show up in this world? Because in the end, maybe life isn't about tracing it back to a distant origin. Maybe it's about awakening right here, to the mystery that's unfolding all around you, and realizing you are not separate from it. You are it. Stay with me. The real shift is still to come. Part 2, No Beginning, the cycles that created you. Let me ask you something. What if there was no beginning? No single moment where everything started? No spark from a god's hand? No big bang boom from nothing? Just motion, flow, continuation. I know it sounds strange. We're wired to think in straight lines. Birth, then life, then death. A start, a middle, and an end. But what if reality isn't a line? What if it's a circle? This is where the Buddha pointed not to a creator, but to a cycle. A cycle called samsara, the endless round of birth, death, and rebirth. Not just in some mystical afterlife, but here, in every moment. Thoughts arise, thoughts fade. Breath comes, breath goes. A child is born. A flower wilts. A new seed sprouts. Everything is moving, transforming. Not because someone is pushing the buttons, but because that's how reality works. The Buddha never claimed to know the first cause. He said, the beginning of the cycle is unimaginable, not because it's hidden from us, but because it doesn't exist in the way we think. There's no clear point you can draw a circle and say, here, this is where it all began. And you know what? Modern science quietly agrees. Even Einstein, who was mesmerized by the beauty of the cosmos, once said, I believe in Spinoza's God, who reveals himself in the lawful harmony of the world. Not a personal God, not a creator who judges, but a universe governed by patterns, by cause and effect. In Buddhism, this is called pratitya samutpada, dependent origination. It sounds complex, but it's beautifully simple. Everything arises because of something else. Nothing stands alone. No thing, no person, no moment. Just is. Like a wave on the ocean. It doesn't exist by itself. It's shaped by the wind, the pull of the moon, the water below it, the wave beside it. Remove one of those causes, and the wave disappears. It's like a spider web. Each thread is connected. Touch one strand, and the whole web trembles. You are that web. The way you think, feel, speak, all of it is shaped by your parents, your culture, your choices, your memories, and also the food you ate, the book you read, the stranger you passed yesterday who smiled at you. There is no isolated you. There is only emergence. And when you really get that, something inside shifts. You stop needing someone up there pulling the strings. You stop asking, who created this? And start wondering, what keeps creating this? That's a powerful shift. It's not saying there's no meaning. It's saying meaning doesn't come from above. It's woven into the web, created by relationships, by interconnection. You're not here by divine decree. You're here because everything before you made you possible. That's not less sacred. That's more. So next time you look up at the night sky, don't search for the hand that lit the stars. Feel into the laws that allow them to burn. Realize you're not separate from that. You're part of the same process. A breath, a heartbeat, a wave rising in a vast, timeless ocean. No beginning, no end, only unfolding. You don't need a creator to feel awe. You don't need a start to begin again. Because the miracle is not that something was made. The miracle is that everything is always being made. Right now, including you. Part 3. Everything is connected and nothing stands alone. Let me tell you a quiet truth. Nothing exists by itself. Not the stars. Not your thoughts. Not even you. I don't mean that in some poetic abstract way. I mean it literally. Everything you are, everything you experience, depends on something else. Let's start with something simple. Your breath. It feels like it's yours, right? But take a closer look. You didn't invent the lungs in your chest. You didn't choose the oxygen in the air. You didn't decide how your heart sends blood to every corner of your body. It all just happens. Because of billions of tiny causes coming together in just the right way. Your breath isn't yours. It's a collaboration between air, body, time, and life itself. In Buddhism, this is called shunyata, emptiness. But it doesn't mean nothing exists. It means nothing exists on its own. Everything is empty of a fixed, separate identity, and full of everything else. You are made of your parents, your ancestors, your choices, your mistakes, and every stranger who ever smiled at you on a hard day. You are not just you. You are us. But we forget that, don't we? We walk through the world thinking we're isolated, separate, me versus them, inside versus outside. And in that illusion, we suffer. We cling. We fear. We ache to control things that were never meant to be controlled. And when life falls apart, a job ends, a relationship breaks, the body weakens, we ask, why is this happening to me? As if we were meant to stand still in a world that never does. Here's what the Buddha taught. Nothing happens to you in isolation. Life is not attacking you. It's just unfolding. Like a wave rising and falling on the ocean. You don't blame the wave for crashing. You don't praise it for forming. You just watch it. Breathe with it. Understand that it's part of something vast, moving, and interconnected. So are you. But don't just believe this because I said it. Look for yourself. Sit still. Feel your breath. Feel how it's not you breathing, not exactly. It's more like breathing is happening, and you're simply here to witness it. The more still you become, the more you notice. Thoughts arise and pass. Emotions come and go. Pain shows up and softens. None of it lasts. None of it is truly yours. And yet, you're still here. Not as a solid self, but as a field of experience. Open, changing, alive. When you realize this deeply, not in your head, but in your bones, something strange and beautiful happens. You stop needing to invent a creator. You stop searching for some all-powerful hand behind the curtain. Because you see, there's no need for one. The universe creates itself, moment by moment, through causes, conditions, relationships, through co-arising, just like the breath, just like you. So if you've ever felt small, or alone, or desperate to find someone in charge, try this instead. Sit, breathe, feel the vastness that holds you. You're not broken. You're not separate. You're not late to your purpose. You are already part of the miracle. Not outside of it. Not after it. Inside it. Soft music fade in. You don't need a creator. You need to see clearly. Because when you truly see, you won't ask, who made this? You'll simply whisper, thank you. Part 4. Karma, the seeds that shape the universe. Let me tell you a story. Not about gods or heavens. Not about judgment or reward. But about something much more intimate. A seed. Imagine this. A farmer walks into his field at sunrise. He places one tiny seed into the soil. Not out of superstition. Not to impress a god. But simply because he knows what soil does. You plant a seed and something grows. Maybe today, maybe tomorrow, but always something will grow. That in essence is karma. The Buddha didn't see the universe as ruled by a creator watching from above. No judgment, no punishment, no divine scoreboard. Instead, through deep silent meditation, he saw something else. Countless worlds, infinite realms, each one unfolding from intention, from karma, not as some mystical force, but as the simple law of cause and effect. Karma isn't fate. It's not destiny. It's not some cosmic justice system tracking your every move. Karma is this. What you do matters. What you think matters. What you intend matters. Every choice you make is a seed, and those seeds don't disappear. They take root in your mind, in your body, in the world around you. They shape how you see, how you feel, even what kind of world you wake up in tomorrow. This was the Buddha's cosmic vision. Not a heaven created by a loving God, but a universe of interwoven actions. Billions of beings, planting billions of seeds, moment by moment. Each life, shaped not by divine command, but by its own momentum. It's humbling, and it's empowering, because it means your life isn't being written for you. It's being written by you. And here's something to sit with. The Buddha discouraged big questions like, where did it all begin? What's the first cause? Not because those questions are bad, but because they're distractions. They pull us into the mind, into theories and debates, while the real work, the real freedom lies in seeing what's happening right now. Are you angry? Are you afraid? Are you planting seeds of kindness or seeds of pain? That's what matters, because those are the seeds you'll walk through later. It's like a garden. No matter how messy it is, you can always begin again. You don't need to know the origin of the soil. You just need to pay attention to what you're planting today. And the beauty? You're not stuck with the past. Karma isn't permanent. It's always moving, always changing, always waiting for you to wake up. So don't look up, hoping for a God to save you. Don't look back, trying to find where it all started. Look here. Look now. At the thoughts in your mind, at the words on your tongue, at the next step you're about to take. Because the future isn't waiting out there somewhere. It's growing beneath your feet, from seeds you didn't even realize you were planting. The Buddha saw this with open eyes. A universe built not from punishment or praise, but from patterns, from intention. And that's the kind of universe you can trust, because it doesn't need to love you. It just responds to you, like soil to a seed, like echo to a sound, like the world to your heart. Part 5. Waking from the Cosmic Dream. There's a moment right before you wake up when the dream still feels real. Maybe you're flying. Maybe you're falling. Maybe you're walking down a street that feels like home, even though it isn't. And then you open your eyes. The world comes rushing back in. You realize none of it was real. But in the dream, it felt so real. The Buddha once said this universe, this life, our desires, our stories, our fears, they're just like that dream. Vivid, emotional, beautiful even, but ultimately, not what they appear to be. He didn't mean the world doesn't exist. He meant we don't see it as it is. We see it through a veil, woven from craving, fear, identity, and habit. We walk through life as if sleepwalking, wanting things, chasing things, grasping at me, mine, more, like a dreamer clinging to a fantasy that's slowly fading. Modern science, in its own language, is beginning to say something eerily similar, that what we call reality is filtered, shaped by perception, edited by the brain, rewritten by memory. We think we see the world, but really, we see our version of it, just like a dream. But here's where Buddhism goes further. The Buddha didn't stop at insight. He offered a path, a way out, a way to wake up. He said, you suffer because you cling. You cling because you crave. You crave because you're asleep. And when you let go of that craving, even for a moment, you begin to wake. Waking up, in this sense, isn't dramatic. It's not thunder in the sky or fire in the soul. It's quiet, soft, like a breath you didn't know you were holding, finally released. It's seeing things as they are without needing them to be different. I'll tell you something personal. There was a time in my life when I thought success would save me. If I could just reach that next goal, earn more, be more respected, then I could rest. But the closer I got, the more restless I became, like chasing a finish line that kept moving. And one day, sitting quietly, I heard a thought rise in my mind. What if you're already enough? I didn't believe it at first, but I stopped running, just for a moment. And in that stillness, I saw what the Buddha meant. It wasn't the world that was exhausting me. It was the craving, the dream. The Buddha taught that the cosmos itself, this vast, magnificent mystery, is neither good nor bad. It just is. Like a dream. Not wrong, not right, but impermanent, ever-changing, empty of fixed meaning. And within that dream, you have a choice. Keep chasing, or start waking. So what does it mean to awaken? It means seeing clearly, without illusion. It means moving through life with awareness instead of autopilot. It means holding joy lightly and meeting pain without panic. It means recognizing you are not a separate self trapped in a cold universe. You are the universe becoming aware of itself. Gentle music fades in. The dream isn't the problem. The clinging to it is. So today, you don't need to escape. You don't need to be anyone else. You just need to wake up. One breath at a time. One moment at a time. Because freedom doesn't wait at the end of the dream. It begins the moment you open your eyes. Conclusion. From who to what now? There's a question that echoes through time. Who made all this? Is there a creator? A grand designer? Some divine will behind the stars? People have asked this for thousands of years, across cultures, across continents. And the Buddha, he answered in a way most didn't expect. He didn't argue yes. He didn't argue no. Instead, he turned gently and pointed to something far closer. He said, I teach only one thing, suffering and the end of suffering. To him, the deeper question wasn't, who made the world? But rather, why do we suffer inside it? Because even if someone told you exactly how the cosmos began, would that take away your loneliness? Your anxiety? Your grief? The Buddha saw that underneath all the cosmic stories, underneath belief and disbelief, was the human heart, longing to be free. So he invited us to come back to the present moment, back to what we can see, touch, feel, and live. Not trapped in theory, but awakened in experience. He didn't reject the idea of a God. He simply showed that peace doesn't depend on one. Because when the mind is still, when awareness is clear, the need for certainty begins to dissolve. You no longer chase answers out there. You begin to sense something deeper within. So maybe the question isn't, who made the world? Maybe the real question is, what will I do now with this moment, this breath, this life? Can I live with clarity, with love, with freedom? That's where the path begins. Not in the sky, but in the heart. Just like waves rising from the sea, everything we see, joy, pain, fear, love, arises from causes and conditions. Not a designer, not a punisher, just life unfolding. And when we learn to see that directly, without judgment, without clinging, a quiet peace begins to bloom. Not because all questions are answered, but because they no longer need to be. If this touched something in you, even just a little, maybe share it with someone who needs a pause, someone who's carrying too many questions, and might just need a moment of stillness. Intro: The Unshakable Mind. Have you ever wondered what it would feel like to stay calm, even when the world around you falls at principles? Imagine this. The bills are piling up. Someone you trusted just walked out of your life. Or maybe you're simply overwhelmed by the chaos of everyday life. And yet deep inside you feel still, grounded, peaceful. That kind of unshakable calm isn't a fantasy, it's a practice. And it begins with a timeless truth from the Buddha himself. Peace comes from within. Do not seek it without. It's easy to look for peace outside through people, possessions, or perfect circumstances. But life doesn't always play fair. The job changes, the relationship breaks, the news overwhelms. And if our inner peace depends on the outside world, we'll always be at its mercy. But Buddhism offers another way, a path to train the mind, to cultivate calm not by running away from life's noise, but by learning how to stand still within it. In this video, we're going to explore 9 Buddhist principles that can transform how you face stress, negativity, and emotional storms. These aren't just ancient teachings written in stone. They're practical tools, gentle but powerful, tested by time and by real people like you and me. You don't need to become a monk. You don't need to move to the mountains. What you need is willingness, a little space to breathe, and a heart that's open to seeing things differently. Because peace isn't found in a silent room. It's found when the noise no longer controls you. So, take a breath. Let's begin this journey together. If you've been craving a deeper kind of peace, the kind no one can take from you, stay with me. These 9 truths may change how you experience every moment of your life. Principles. 1. Breathe to anchor your mind. When life feels overwhelming, our first instinct is often to react. We speak too fast, we worry too much, and before we even realize it, our minds are scattered in every direction, thinking about the past, dreading the future, or lost in what-ifs. But the Buddha taught something beautifully simple. When you breathe in, know that you are breathing in. When you breathe out, know that you are breathing out. It sounds so basic, just breathing. But if done with awareness, it becomes a lifeline, pulling us back from the chaos into the present moment. Try it now. Inhale slowly. Feel the breath entering your body. Exhale gently, and notice how your thoughts begin to soften. Nothing else exists in this moment, just you and your breath. You see, the breath is always there. It doesn't judge. It doesn't rush. It simply invites us home to ourselves. In Buddhism, mindful breathing is a practice called anapanasati, awareness of inhalation and exhalation. And it's not about controlling your breath. It's about watching it. Like observing a wave rise and fall. Like watching clouds pass through a clear sky. One breath at a time, your mind returns to stillness. Not by forcing silence, but by anchoring yourself in something real, something steady, something always with you. In moments of stress, you don't need a solution right away. What you need first is a pause, a sacred second to return to your breath. Because once you're centered, clarity comes naturally. So the next time your heart races or your mind spirals, don't run from the chaos. Just breathe. Because that breath, it's your anchor. And through it, you return home. Message to you from the heart. Your breath is more than a function. It's your doorway back to peace. And with practice, even a single mindful inhale can change your entire day. Principles 2. Reframe negative thoughts. How often do you catch yourself thinking, "This is awful. Why does this always happen to me? I'll never get through this." We've all been there. Our thoughts start small, but they snowball. And before we know it, one single negative moment becomes a dark narrative we replay over and over. But here's a quiet truth from the Buddha. We are shaped by our thoughts. We become what we think. You see, thoughts are not facts. They're stories we tell ourselves. And the beautiful thing is, you have the power to rewrite them. What if, instead of spiraling into self-blame or fear, you paused and asked, "What can I learn from this?" Or even, "Is there another way to see this?" Suddenly, the storm starts to pass. Not because the problem vanished, but because you changed how you looked at it. This shift is called reframing. It doesn't deny your pain, it gives it purpose. It's the inner voice that says, "Yes, this is hard, but maybe it's here to teach me strength. Yes, I failed, but what did this moment reveal about what truly matters?" Buddhism teaches that the mind is like a garden. What you water will grow. If you keep watering anger, fear, or doubt, those will bloom. But if you water curiosity, compassion, and understanding, your inner world becomes lighter, more peaceful, and far more resilient. So, When the next negative thought creeps in, pause. Ask yourself gently, is this thought helping me or hurting me? Because in that small pause, you reclaim your power. And here's a quiet invitation. Stay with me till the end of this journey. You might discover that the smallest mental shifts, the tiniest rewrites of your thoughts, can shape the biggest turning points in your life. Message to you from the heart. Your thoughts don't have to be your enemies. They can become your teachers if you're willing to listen, question, and reframe. Principles 3. Emotional detachment. Letting go without shutting down. Imagine you are standing at the edge of an ocean. Waves rise and full anger, fear, joy, sadness. They come, they go, but you are not the wave. You are the anchor. Emotional detachment doesn't mean becoming cold or numb. It means learning how to feel without being swept away. So many of us were never taught how to sit with emotions. We suppress them. Or worse, we become them. I am angry. I am broken. I am not enough. But the truth is, you have emotions. You are not your emotions. The Buddha once said, attachment is the root of suffering. And often, it's not just attachment to people or things. It's attachment to how we think we should feel. We want happiness to stay forever. We want sadness to disappear instantly. But feelings, like seasons, have their rhythm. You can't force winter to become summer, but you can choose how you walk through the snow. Emotional detachment is choosing to pause when triggered, to say, I see this anger, but I don't have to act on it. Or, I feel this sadness, but I don't need to drown in it. It's the wisdom of breathing through discomfort instead of reacting to it. It's the strength of watching the storm without becoming the storm. Letting go is not giving up. It's trusting that peace comes, not from controlling the wave, but from becoming the calm beneath it. So next time you're overwhelmed by emotion, don't ask, how do I make this go away? Instead, ask, can I sit with this without judgment? And remember, some of the most powerful healing comes not when you fix the feeling, but when you simply make space for it. Message to you, you are not your emotions. You are the presence that holds them gently, lets them pass, and still chooses peace. Principles 4. Reframe challenges, shifting how we see pain. Let's take a moment and think about this. What if the worst thing that ever happened to you was also the seed of your greatest growth? You see, life rarely unfolds the way we plan. Jobs are lost, hearts break, dreams dissolve. But what if these are not endings? What if they're invitations? Invitations to grow deeper roots, to see life not as something that happens to us, but as something that happens for us. Buddhist wisdom reminds us, we are shaped by our thoughts. We become what we think. When something painful happens, most of us ask, why is this happening to me? But imagine replacing that question with, what is this teaching me? That one shift changes everything. A lost job becomes a chance to rediscover your passion. A broken relationship becomes the mirror you needed to finally heal your self-worth. A failure becomes the lesson that points you toward a better direction. It doesn't make the pain disappear, but it gives it purpose. And when pain has purpose, it becomes fuel, not chains. Let me ask you this. Think of a challenge you've faced recently. What if, hidden within that hardship, was the exact wisdom you needed for your next step? And don't rush to fix or escape discomfort. Sometimes, the healing begins not by asking, how do I get out of this? But by asking, how can I grow through this? Because truthfully, no flower blooms without first breaking through the dirt. So keep watching. You may discover that the smallest shift in perspective can change the entire course of your life. Message to you. When you change how you see the challenge changes you. Make sure to stick around until the end of the video, as you might be missing out on small details that can have a big impact on your future. Principles 5. Let go of what you can't control. Find peace in surrender. Have you ever tried to hold sand in your hand? The tighter you grip it, the faster it slips away. That's exactly what happens when we try to control everything in our lives. We worry about the future. We obsess over the past. We try to fix people, change outcomes, predict every twist of the road. But the truth is, life isn't a puzzle to solve. It's a flow to surrender to. Buddhist wisdom teaches us something simple, yet deeply liberating. Let go of what's gone. Be grateful for what remains, and look forward to what is coming. Just breathe that in. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means releasing the burden of what was never in your hands to begin with. You can't control the storm, but you can learn to stand still within it. You can't force someone to stay, but you can learn to stay present with yourself. You can't change what's already happened, but you can choose how you carry it. One of the most powerful tools for this? Mindfulness, meditation. It's the practice of sitting with reality as it is, without judgment, without grasping, without running. It teaches us that peace doesn't come when everything is finally perfect. It comes when we finally stop trying to control what was never ours to begin with. Imagine standing at the edge of the ocean. Waves crash, winds howl, but instead of fighting the tide, you simply breathe and allow. That's the kind of strength surrender gives you. Ask yourself, what am I holding on to so tightly that it's actually keeping me from peace? Stay with this journey, because in the next lesson, we'll explore how being fully present in the now can transform how you experience your entire life. Message to you, from the heart. Sometimes, peace begins not with a new plan, but with an open hand. Principle 6. Cultivate gratitude, the quiet medicine for the soul. In a world that constantly tells us we're lacking, not successful enough, not fast enough, not happy enough, gratitude is an act of quiet rebellion. It doesn't deny pain. It simply reminds us, even if we didn't learn a lot today, at least we learned a little. Gratitude shifts the lens. Instead of focusing on what went wrong, we begin to notice the small moments that went right. The warmth of the morning sun, a quiet cup of tea, a kind word from someone who didn't have to say it. These may seem small, but gratitude turns them into treasures. When we pause and give thanks, our mind softens, our breath deepens, and our problems, while still real, no longer feel as heavy. Here's a gentle practice you can try tonight. Before you sleep, write down 3 things you're grateful for. Big or small, doesn't matter. What matters is the noticing. Do this for a week, and you'll start to see your reality shift. Do it for a month, and you'll start to feel your heart shift. You can also express gratitude out loud. Say thank you to someone. Send a message. Leave a note. Not because you have to, but because it reconnects you to what's good. In Buddhist teachings, gratitude is a gateway to joy. Not because everything is perfect, but because we learn to see that, somehow, even in imperfection, there is beauty. Ask yourself, what is something I usually take for granted that I can start appreciating today? And remember, peace doesn't always come from fixing your life. Sometimes it comes from falling in love with the life you already have. Stay with us, because the final lesson is perhaps the most powerful one yet. It's not just about finding peace, but about becoming a source of peace for the world around you. Message to you. Gratitude doesn't change the world, but it changes how you walk through it. Principle 7. Surround yourself with positive energy. Your inner peace depends on it. Have you ever walked into a room and felt the heaviness before a single word was spoken? That's the power of energy. And the people we spend time with consciously or not shape our mood, our thoughts, and our path forward. Buddhism teaches us that the company we keep is not just a social choice, it's a spiritual one. An evil friend wounds the mind more than a wild beast. The Buddha, because while a wild animal may hurt the body, a toxic person poisons the mind. If you constantly surround yourself with negativity, gossip, complaining, fear, comparison, it's like standing in a smoky room and expecting to breathe fresh air. So ask yourself, who in your life leaves you feeling lighter after a conversation? Who reminds you of your worth, even when you forget it yourself? These are your Kalyana Mitayar noble friends, the ones who walk the path with compassion and clarity. Not perfect, but honest. Not always cheerful, but always kind. And if you haven't found such people yet, become one. Be the friend who listens deeply. Be the one who encourages growth instead of judgment. Your energy, too, is medicine. Here's a gentle reminder. You don't need to burn bridges in anger, but you can quietly walk away from those who dim your light. Protect your peace like a sacred flame, because when you are surrounded by warmth, your soul remembers how to bloom. And before we close, take a breath and reflect. Are there people in your life who pull you off balance? And are there others, maybe quiet, maybe rare, who lift your spirit when you least expect? Seek them, nurture them, and in doing so, you nurture yourself. Message to you. You've just walked through 7 timeless teachings, each one a step toward the stillness your heart craves. But the journey doesn't end here. Stay with us just a moment longer, because how you end your day might be the most sacred principles of all. In the final moments, we'll offer a practice to help you turn these insights into real transformation. Don't miss it. Principles 8. Create mindful environments. The space around you shapes the peace within. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine walking into a space that smells of fresh air. Light spills gently through the window. A single plant leans toward the sun, and their silence is soft, calming silence. That's not just a peaceful room. That's therapy without words. In Buddhism, our outer world reflects our inner state, but it also works in reverse. Clean space, calm mind. When your surroundings are cluttered, noisy, or chaotic, your mind struggles to settle. Even the tiniest mess whispers distractions into your focus. Try this. Clear your table before you meditate, or light a candle before journaling. These small rituals aren't about aesthetics. They're acts of mindfulness. And it's not just about your physical space. It's the mental space you create, too. What are you feeding your senses every day? The news that triggers fear? The scroll that breeds comparison? Or the silence that lets your soul breathe? Every time you choose calm over chaos, nature sounds over notifications, a meaningful book over meaningless noise, you create a sanctuary. Not out there, but in here. Soften your space. Add a plant. Let light in. Declutter just one corner. And most importantly, be mindful of the energy you let in through sound, through screens, through people. Because peace isn't always something you seek far away. Sometimes it's as simple as rearranging your room or switching off your phone. You've now learned how your environment can be your teacher. But what about the inner habits that quietly sabotage your peace without you even realizing? Stick around. In the next principles, we'll reveal the one practice most people ignore, but that every wise monk has mastered. Principles 9. Be the energy you seek. You are the source of positive energy. You walk into a room. No one speaks. But somehow, you feel peace. Why? Because energy doesn't lie. And whether you realize it or not, you carry a frequent every moment, every word, every thought. Instead of chasing positivity from the outside, what if you become it? In Buddhism, we cultivate three powerful inner qualities: loving kindness, mindfulness, and gratitude. They are not decorations. They are your true power source. Start your day with one loving thought. Pause to breathe before you react. Whisper thank you, even when things go wrong. Each of these acts sends ripples through your energy field, and others feel it. You don't need to be loud to be radiant. You just need to be aligned. Imagine this. If you're the sun, you don't go around chasing flowers. You just shine, and the flowers turn toward you. The same goes for your life. You attract what you embody. So instead of waiting for peace, kindness, or joy, be it. Radiate it, and you'll be amazed how life responds in return. Conclusion: the power from within. Peace is not found in escaping the storm. It's found in learning to stand still within it. You don't need a perfect life to feel calm. You only need a steady breath and a clear mind. These 9 Buddhist principles are not just ideas. They are inner tools to come home to yourself. Each one, a gentle reminder. You have the power to choose peace again and again. As you walk this path, reactions become reflections. Struggles become teachings. And your presence becomes your greatest gift. 10 a.m. A woman steps outside. The world is quiet. Stars fill the sky like scattered diamonds. She whispers to herself, "Who made all this?" We've all had a moment like that, staring into the vastness of the night sky, watching someone we love take their last breath, or just feeling small in the middle of a crowded, chaotic world. And then it hits us. That aching question we can't quite shake. Who made this? Who's behind it all? It's not just a philosophical curiosity. It's a longing, a deep human need for meaning, for comfort, for someone to tell us, it's okay, there's a reason, you're not alone. And that longing's not random. Science tells us our brains are wired for agency detection. Early humans heard rustling in the bushes. Was it the wind or a tiger? Something behind the noise helped us survive. Today, that same instinct looks at the cosmos and sees a creator. We want there to be someone out there, a force, a mind, a plan. Even in the ancient Buddhist texts, there's a powerful story. The deity, Brahma Baka, who lived for eons in a radiant celestial realm. He thought he was eternal. He believed he was the uncaused cause, the ultimate creator. But then, the Buddha appears, and with a quiet, piercing gaze, reveals a truth Brahma never considered. Even gods are born from conditions. Even creators are created. It's a stunning idea. What if the question isn't, who made all this? But instead, why do I need someone to have made it? And that's just the beginning. Because once we let go of needing a creator, we open the door to a completely different kind of freedom. Pause, beat. But what does that freedom actually look like? Stay with me. Part 1. The old answers and a new question. There's a question that haunts every human being, whether we're lying under a starry sky or sitting in a hospital room watching someone we love slip away. Where did all this come from? Who made this? Why are we here? For thousands of years, people have turned to one of the oldest and most powerful ideas we've ever had. There must be a creator, a divine architect, a cosmic mind, a being who imagined the universe into being and placed you deliberately right here in the middle of it. And to be honest, that story brings comfort. If God made the world, then our lives must mean something. We're not just accidents. We're part of a plan, a sacred script, written by hands we cannot see. But then, another story emerged. One that didn't come from temples or holy books, but from telescopes and particle accelerators and long nights in labs. The scientific version of our origin. It goes like this. In the beginning, there was nothing. No stars, no time, no space. And then boom, the Big Bang. A single moment when everything exploded into existence. Energy, matter, space, and time itself. It's awe-inspiring. A universe from nowhere. And yet, it leaves us with another haunting question. What came before that? Was there something before the bang? And if so, what caused that? Even Stephen Hawking, one of the brightest minds of our time, speculated that the laws of physics could have emerged spontaneously from what he called a quantum vacuum. An elegant phrase. But what does that really mean? If there's no creator, and no before the beginning, what are we even doing here? And that's when the Buddha's voice quietly enters the conversation. Not to argue, not to debate, but to ask a very different kind of question. You see, 2,600 years ago, people asked the Buddha these same things. Is the world eternal? Who created it? Where did we come from? And the Buddha, he didn't answer. Not because he didn't know, but because, in his eyes, those questions were distractions. He told a story instead. A man is shot with a poisoned arrow, and instead of pulling it out, he starts asking, who made this arrow? What kind of wood is it? What tribe is the archer from? The Buddha's point? You're dying. Focus on healing. So instead of who created the universe, the Buddha asked, what conditions caused this moment to arise? Not a first cause, not a cosmic person, but a chain of interwoven causes and effects, like waves rising from the sea, not because someone pushes them, but because of the wind, the tide, the moon. The wave is not made. It is born from the meeting of conditions. This changes everything, because it moves us away from needing to find a beginning and toward understanding what's unfolding right now. You weren't created once, long ago. You are being created in this very moment, by your choices, by your breath, by the conditions of your life, your childhood, your thoughts, your habits, your environment. And just like that, responsibility shifts. It's not about who made you. It's about how you're being made right now. Some might feel uneasy about that, because it means there may be no grand designer, no higher script, but there's also freedom in it. Because if your life is being shaped by causes, you can change the causes. You can plant different seeds. You can wake up. So maybe the deeper question isn't, who created this? But, what am I creating through my thoughts, my actions, and the way I show up in this world? Because in the end, maybe life isn't about tracing it back to a distant origin. Maybe it's about awakening right here, to the mystery that's unfolding all around you, and realizing you are not separate from it. You are it. Stay with me. The real shift is still to come. Part 2. No beginning. The cycles that created you. Let me ask you something. What if there was no beginning? No single moment where everything started. No spark from a god's hand. No big bang boom from nothing. Just motion, flow, continuation. I know it sounds strange. We're wired to think in straight lines. Birth, then life, then death. A start, a middle, and an end. But what if reality isn't a line? What if it's a circle? This is where the Buddha pointed not to a creator, but to a cycle. A cycle called samsara, the endless round of birth, death, and rebirth. Not just in some mystical afterlife, but here, in every moment. Thoughts arise, thoughts fade. Breath comes, breath goes. A child is born. A flower wilts. A new seed sprouts. Everything is moving, transforming. Not because someone is pushing the buttons, but because that's how reality works. The Buddha never claimed to know the first cause. He said, the beginning of the cycle is unimaginable, not because it's hidden from us, but because it doesn't exist in the way we think. There's no clear point you can draw a circle and say, here, this is where it all began. And you know what? Modern science quietly agrees. Even Einstein, who was mesmerized by the beauty of the cosmos, once said, I believe in Spinoza's God, who reveals himself in the lawful harmony of the world. Not a personal God, not a creator who judges, but a universe governed by patterns, by cause and effect. In Buddhism, this is called pratitya samutpada, dependent origination. It sounds complex, but it's beautifully simple. Everything arises because of something else. Nothing stands alone. No thing, no person, no moment, just is. Like a wave on the ocean, it doesn't exist by itself. It's shaped by the wind, the pull of the moon, the water below it, the wave beside it. Remove one of those causes, and the wave disappears. It's like a spider web. Each thread is connected. Touch one strand, and the whole web trembles. You are that web. The way you think, feel, speak, all of it is shaped by your parents, your culture, your choices, your memories, and also the food you ate, the book you read, the stranger you passed yesterday who smiled at you. There is no isolated you. There is only emergence. And when you really get that, something inside shifts. You stop needing someone up there pulling the strings. You stop asking, who created this? And start wondering, what keeps creating this? That's a powerful shift. It's not saying there's no meaning. It's saying meaning doesn't come from above. It's woven into the web, created by relationships, by interconnection. You're not here by divine decree. You're here because everything before you made you possible. That's not less sacred. That's more. So next time you look up at the night sky, don't search for the hand that lit the stars. Feel into the laws that allow them to burn. Realize you're not separate from that. You're part of the same process. A breath, a heartbeat, a wave rising in a vast, timeless ocean. No beginning, no end, only unfolding. You don't need a creator to feel awe. You don't need a start to begin again, because the miracle is not that something was made. The miracle is that everything is always being made. Right now, including you. Part 3. Everything is connected and nothing stands alone. Let me tell you a quiet truth. Nothing exists by itself. Not the stars. Not your thoughts. Not even you. I don't mean that in some poetic abstract way. I mean it literally. Everything you are, everything you experience, depends on something else. Let's start with something simple. Your breath. It feels like it's yours, right? But take a closer look. You didn't invent the lungs in your chest. You didn't choose the oxygen in the air. You didn't decide how your heart sends blood to every corner of your body. It all just happens. Because of billions of tiny causes coming together in just the right way. Your breath isn't yours. It's a collaboration between air, body, time, and life itself. In Buddhism, this is called shunyata, emptiness. But it doesn't mean nothing exists. It means nothing exists on its own. Everything is empty of a fixed, separate identity, and full of everything else. You are made of your parents, your ancestors, your choices, your mistakes, and every stranger who ever smiled at you on a hard day. You are not just you. You are us. But we forget that, don't we? We walk through the world thinking we're isolated, separate, me versus them, inside versus outside. And in that illusion, we suffer. We cling. We fear. We ache to control things that were never meant to be controlled. And when life falls apart, a job ends, a relationship breaks, the body weakens, we ask, why is this happening to me? As if we were meant to stand still in a world that never does. Here's what the Buddha taught. Nothing happens to you in isolation. Life is not attacking you. It's just unfolding. Like a wave rising and falling on the ocean. You don't blame the wave for crashing. You don't praise it for forming. You just watch it. Breathe with it.